Now, as we've heard, Ukrainian men between the ages of 18 and 60 are banned from leaving the country as they've been called up to defend Ukraine against Putin's army. That's creating dramatic scenes at train stations where families are forced to say their goodbyes. And there are now reports that some teenagers, even younger than 18, are choosing to remain behind to join the resistance.
A last embrace before she can board the train. He is staying behind in Kyiv to fight. Vladimir Putin's invasion is tearing apart thousands of families in Ukraine. People at the station just want to get away. Away from the thousands of Russian soldiers who want to take the Ukrainian capital by force. I'm really worried about my 3 kids and I want to come back, but now I'm very scared. As desperation grows, so does the number of people willing to board a train. And while women, children and the elderly get on, their husbands, fathers and sons face the grim reality that they might never see them again. This man had just put his wife and 2 small children on the train. His 8-year-old son gave him his toy ambulance before he boarded. The urge to go with loved ones is almost unbearable.
I said that we will fight to the end. It will be easier for us to fight when you are safe.
Men aged 18 to 60 are not allowed to leave the country. But some teenagers choose to stay behind as well. They are joining the territorial defense. The reserve fighters wear yellow armbands. They have become omnipresent in the streets and outskirts of Kyiv. Most of them are inexperienced, but they are motivated to defend their country.
The UN Refugee Agency says more than 1.2 million people have now fled Ukraine to neighbouring countries. Many of them are children fleeing with their mothers, while Ukrainian men have to stay and fight. Helpers in neighbouring countries say children are arriving traumatised. DW correspondent Monika Shiradska reports from near the Polish border with Ukraine.
Around 40,000 people are arriving here each day. One refugee from Ukraine told me, "War is something for adults, not for children. The children of Ukraine are fleeing war and are arriving here at this railway station near the border. They bring with them the trauma of upheaval, fear and sometimes wars."
If there had been no war, our houses would have stood. My grandfather now sleeps with a gun. I think we can do it, that it will get better in Ukraine and that we will win. I cannot say anything. I waited so long, I cried so much, I have nothing to say. We spent a very long time on the train and a very long time standing. I'm grateful to Poland that it welcomes our compatriots in this way. What do you feel now? Joy. Joy. Sometimes there were sirens in the evening. The people hid all day in cellars and bunkers. My father is in Ukraine. A lot of my relatives also stayed. I'm afraid that many people will die because of this war.
Who is prepared to talk to their children about war? The parents are in shock themselves. Their country suddenly engulfed in war. The big picture is overwhelming. The focus for now is on their children.
We in Zaporozhye do not need to explain anything. The children there have seen everything with their own eyes. The situation there is difficult. They felt it all around them. Every day they sat in cellars without light, water, or heating.
Ні тепла нету, нічого нету. Ну. Коли в нас уже наш район стали сильно
When
обстрілювати.
our region came under heavy fire, when tanks were visible, the children were afraid. They said, "Mom, we're scared. Can we leave?" The children understood that there was a war, but they didn't understand why. Why were people shooting at each other? I don't explain it to them because I believe they're too young. In general, they know that there's a war, that there are explosions, and that someone wants to take our homeland away from us.
Є взриви, що хочуть нашу державу забрати.
The war in Ukraine is changing everything. Here, a new generation of European refugees carry the baggage of trauma into their new lives.
Anchal Fore is a journalist for Foreign Policy magazine. She's in Przemysl, near the border with Ukraine, and I asked her to describe the situation there.
Behind me is the first reception center. Now, this is where the buses that actually transport a lot of these Ukrainian refugees land, and from here they go to different places. Journalists are not allowed to go inside anymore. They were until a few days ago, so we're not very sure what the conditions inside are, but we sort of try to have a look, and it's pretty packed. There are mainly women with children, a lot of men still back home fighting. We met a woman who said her last words to her husband as she said bye-bye to him, I love you, see you soon. And, you know, when we try to ask them, do you think you're going to win the war? Do you think you'll actually see your loved ones again? You'll see your men again? They say we can't think of not seeing them. Yes, we have to, and we hope that somebody comes to our help in Ukraine so we can see our family members again. So very sort of, you know, it's really tragic what we're seeing, but, you know, we're also looking at a great humanitarian response, not just from the Polish people, but also from different nationalities in Europe. We met a lot of German volunteers who actually come with their vans, come with food, come with medicines, and are trying to, you know, help anybody who needs it, and are trying to sort of take them to Germany if that's what they want.
The people you're speaking to, where are they mainly going? What support are they getting, and where can they go? I mean, obviously they're now in safety, they're in Poland, but do they want to stay there near the border, or are they looking to go further into Western Europe?
Well, both. You know, they have a lot of relatives and friends here. A huge population of Poland is already Ukrainian, of Ukrainian descent. They have familial ties, they have friends and family. So a lot of people are gathering here, and from here going to different Polish cities. They're being picked up by their relatives, but they're also going to different places. A lot of people I've spoken to want to go to Germany, and there are some others who are going to France. So, you know, they sort of have connections, which is very different from, you know, what we saw in the Syrian and Afghan refugee crisis. People were landing here, they didn't sort of know where to go. So that was, in that sense, also a bigger problem. But they were also not dealt with the kind of warmth that the Ukrainians are being dealt with. It is, of course, a good thing that Ukrainian refugees are being received well and are being looked after more than other refugees were. But it's perhaps also telling of, you know, different attitudes towards different people.
Well, on that, Anchal, I mean, many people are describing this as quite a U-turn in Polish migration policy. Just briefly, is that what you would describe this as?
I mean, I would say that, but I would also say that, you know, maybe European countries have also learned, and maybe, you know, there are other reasons as well. They feel that Ukrainians are culturally, you know, it's easier for them to assimilate in their societies. That's the other reason, but certainly racist overtone to it all as well, clearly there. It is certainly a U-turn, but I would say it is a good one nonetheless. It's good that Ukrainian refugees are being welcomed with all the warmth that we witnessed.
All right, Anchal, thank you very much for that reporting. Anchal Fore in Poland.